Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to Total War Warhammer 2. Yes, really this time. It's here and I'm very excited. If you've never seen a Total War game before, or Total War Warhammer, or whatever, don't worry, I'll be talking about how things work a little bit in these first few videos. This should be enjoyable for people who are not familiar with the thing, and for everybody else, let's just get right into it. So we're going to be playing as the Skaven today, because I love the Skaven, because they're rat men and they're wonderful. Actually, they're kind of horrible, but that's what makes them wonderful. So, our settlements appear to be ruins to other players. They have to come up and scout the ruins as though they were going to, search for treasure in them or settle in them to discover us. We have a food resource that we have to maintain to keep our rats happy and fighting on our side. And we corrupt areas, sort of like the Chaos Forces or the vampires from the first game. We have our own Skaven corruption. We're going to be playing as Lord Skrolk, because look at how cool his sweet book and mace are. His little flail, I guess. So we get 50% construction cost reduction for some buildings that I don't know what they do. A right cost reduction for a thing that I have no idea what it is. Pestilence scheme sounds okay as far as schemes go. And our army has significantly reduced upkeep for certain units and dramatically corrupts the region it's in. And we get to start with some plague monks and a catapult and some other different plague monks. Flails and swords. Okay. Playing on very hard, and let's go.
Deep under the world, they chitter and plan, watching, waiting. When they emerge, it is a nightmare vision. The Skaven, a ravenous horde of verminous rat men. They gnaw at the roots of the world like an infected wound. They mean to rule over ruins, for such is the will of their god, the great horned rat. Only the island home of the High Elves has remained unscathed. And at its center is the Great Vortex. A swirling maelstrom that siphons chaos from the world. The Skaven covet its vast power with envious, beady red eyes. The twin-tailed comet is oft seen as an omen, but this time its wake has disturbed the winds of magic. In the secret halls of the Under-Empire, the Council of 13 has gathered. A time to scheme, of opportunity.
I kill dwarf things in Pillar City. No! Clanmores go to Southlands. Hunt for Warpstone. Moors are puppet minion. Pestilence infest Lastria. Yes. But all Warpstone for council plan. Come, scribe slave. Work to do. Comet makes elf things weak. Council wants power of the Vortex.
Just as prophecy demands.
So it too. You read markings on the Black Pillar. Then you know we must find the Screaming One. Find out how to control the Vortex.
Oh yes, master. But a large tribute of Warpstone will that demon require if we summon him.
Return to your assigned clan. Harvest Warpstone.
Yes, most precipitous of masters.
And flee yourself, your impertinence.
Oh, it will be done, your worship.
Okay, so in case it was unclear from that, we're the bad guys. But, sometimes it can be fun to be the bad guys. So, all of the races in the game are seeking control over the Great Vortex that was mentioned in the cinematic there. That's the core component of the campaign mode in Total War Warhammer 2. Everybody's competing for it. And this is the first Total War game where you can really, like, you have a good chance of losing.
For Skrolk speaks. By will of council, we set paw in Lustria to visit ruin upon the reptile things. Yes, yes. Twin-tailed comet brings great opportunity for pestilence. Great Vortex of Althuan vulnerable. Much power to be had. Warpstone holds key. Much warpstone found in reptile thing cities. Kill Sotex creatures and steal their treasures. Skrolk will bind Vortex to his will and spread sickness across the world. All will succumb to the plague monks.
Yeah. So if you're wondering why he speaks and moves the way he does, why they all do, it's because they are obsessed with this substance called warpstone, which we're going to need a lot of to win the game. Warpstone is basically like magic methamphetamine, but at the same time, magic uranium. And they make weapons out of it, and they sleep on it, and sometimes they eat it. So it's had some effects, long-term effects over many generations. So, we're not ordinarily visible. Yeah, we read this stuff already. Skaven spread corruption wherever they go, lowering public order, but giving additional uses of the Menace Below army ability, which allows us to just summon free units on the battlefield. So we have to be careful. I think we have to try to balance our corruption. We want it to be high enough that there are lots of rats around so that we can defend ourselves, but not so high that it leads to them backstabbing us and trying to take over the clan.
Reptile things should not be here. Why have they resettled old festering ruins? What are they up to, Attack soon! Claim this place for clan pestilence!
Am I able to turn down the level of tutorial? It might be worth doing. So we've gotten a quest. Our scribe Sneak Scratchit, which is too adorable to really be considered evil, has asked that we capture and occupy a settlement, and if we do it, we'll get some money and some warpstone. So, this is a turn-based strategy game with real-time battles. We have here an army and a settlement. Our army's got some units in it. You can see each unit is made up of some number of figures. If you're familiar with Warhammer Fantasy Battles, terminology is probably what you're used to. So we have a lot of rats. Like the Skaven units have a lot of little dudes in them. We have 4 catapults. Okay. But we only have 9 units in our army. This guy has 13, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here and assume that his units are better than our units are on a one-to-one basis. Because Skaven are not strong. We're not powerful, but we make up for it in numbers. So what I'm going to do here is, let's just move toward him.
A bold move.
Some of our movement range. And we're not ready to engage just yet, but we're going to start recruiting units. We have to stay on our side of this dividing line. We can't recruit units in his territory as easily. So what do we have access to? Skaven slaves. Skaven slaves with spears. Clan rats and clan rats with spears. The difference between a sword unit and a spear unit is that spear units are better against large enemies. You can set a spear and take a charge, take less damage. I guess what we mostly have sword and missile infantry and flail infantry. I guess let's get some spears. I bet this faction made up entirely of huge dinosaur men have some large units. So we have 5,000 money in our treasury and 1336 income. We can easily afford to recruit some more guys. But you can see we can only recruit 3 guys from this province every turn. And eventually we'll get some stuff that will allow us to improve that. So that'll be the start here. And let's have a look at our settlement.
Stench of others, too strong.
Okay, this is our basic recruitment building. If we build this up, we'll eventually be able to hire armored, more disciplined fighting units I think that's probably a good idea, but we don't have a huge amount of money right now. So let's see what else we might build. Oh, our province has a special resource, exotic animals. So we can build a building to take advantage of that. We will get a little bit of income from this, and it will produce a trade good that we can use to trade with other players. It doesn't seem like a huge priority to me. We can put up a corrupted spawning pool. This is a special building that is only available because this location is a special strategic location. So what does it do? Plus 75% income from all buildings in all regions in this province, and food and growth and a ton of income. Yeah, okay, we're building this. And since we have a bunch of money left over, let's go ahead and upgrade our clan barracks. Okay, you can see each settlement has a name, an affiliation, a climate, which is not super relevant right now, but as we get away from our home territory, we may encounter areas that we are not well suited to, which will have penalties for living in them. And then some places are strategic locations, some places have special resources, and down here we have the amount of money that this settlement is generating, the amount of warpstone this settlement is generating, public order here, which can be a big deal. We don't have to worry about it right now. Our level of Skaven corruption, you can see it's rising rapidly. And the size of the garrison. Every city has a garrison that will defend it if it is attacked. Okay, what else do we need to do this turn? We have a Skaven corruption viewer overlay. Okay, that's handy. We have this thing, which lets us perform rites once we have fulfilled certain prerequisites. We'll worry about that stuff when we're closer to being able to do it. We have a tech tree that unfortunately is completely locked off. We need to build an assassin's hideout or an overseer's lookout or a clan armory to start researching tech. Okay. We'll work on that. Diplomatic status, spoilers, everyone hates us. And, oh yeah, our objectives. It would be good to know how to win the game. So we want to complete all rituals and win the final battle, which is a special quest battle that will spawn when we complete all of our rituals. Fair enough. We could also win a domination victory by eliminating all of the non-Skaven players and controlling a large portion of the map. We're going to be going for that ritual victory because I'm curious what exactly comes from it. We can put this in fast forward mode. So you can see this is all of the other factions on the map are getting their turn. We have been declared upon.
The enemy are close. Blood will be spilled.
True story, weird old guy. So, what does he have? He has these guys, Saurus warriors. So skinks are little tiny lizards. These guys are probably not much better at fighting than we are. Sauruses, on the other hand, are large and terrifying. And cold ones are just straight dinosaurs. So a lot of these guys are like anthropomorphized lizard dudes, but they do just have some straight dinosaurs. So, we have this ability that will allow us to summon additional rats into battle, and we can spend food to get additional uses. You can see the battle deployment thing here is suggesting that we probably will not win this. Why don't we fall back? It's inconvenient. You know, maybe we should just fight him. So the amount of corruption that we have in the area is giving us some extra menace below. You know what? Why don't we just fight him? Let's just see. Probably the auto-resolve suggestion was correct and we will lose this, but I want to try it. Because we can summon so many additional rats, it feels like we must have a chance. Plus, I want to see Lord Skrolk in action. Let's see exactly what that giant book of magic can do for us. So they have a number of ranged units, as do we. We have slingers, which I bet are not very powerful.
Your soldiers are ready to deploy for battle.
Yes, thank you. So the winds of magic are how we cast spells. 22 out of 30 is pretty good. If the number that it generates you for your starting power is low, you can gamble. You can spend some of your power reserve to try to get a higher starting number. But we're fine how we are. So, Lord Skrolk has 2 spells. Pestilent Breath which is just it's like a breath weapon, damage attack, and Bless with Filth, which will imbue our units with the poison trait, which causes all of those debuffs you can see there to any enemy that they hit. Alright, the enemy's going to set up in here. We want to have the high ground. Where are my slingers? So each unit has 2 or 3 bars above it. The green bar is their health, sort of representation of the health of the unit. It will go down both as the unit takes damage and as individual figures die. And leadership. As the leadership is basically morale, as their leadership falls, they'll get less and less eager to fight, and eventually they'll flee, and I think we're going to have some problems with that, because Skaven are notoriously cowardly. And then ranged units have an additional bar that shows you how much ammo they have. They will run out. Alright, so we're going to take our group of slingers and place them like this. We want to fight on the high ground a little bit. You know what, actually, let's move these guys back a little, so that we can have the high ground in a more convincing fashion. And then all the rest of the melee troops would just go up here, ready to move in front of the ranged and defend them. Alright, let's do it. Okay. So the range of our catapults is... yeah, such that they can fire immediately. Okay, well, we definitely got some hits there. The strength of... here, let's have these guys run up. I think we're going to need to be in front of our ranged sooner rather than later. The siege weapons... a lot of siege weapons against infantry are not super effective at actually killing guys, but are terrifying. And you can see, look at how much morale damage we did with that single volley. So the slingers have pretty short range. And it looks like these guys are pretty fast. What's the range on this pestilent breath? Okay, quite short. They regained their morale pretty quickly there. Alright. I may not have started moving fast enough. We might be taking some damage here. So these guys are skinks. I'm not that worried about skinks. Here's how we're going to defend our catapults. We're going to set, how do I... oops. Who do I have selected right now? Oh, those plague monks. These guys. Yeah, let's advance on these dudes. And we're going to summon some of our Menace Below troops right in front of these. Actually, how about right behind these guys? Enemies take morale penalties when hit from the back. So watch this. Here we come up from the Under Empire. We've engaged, and now they're being shot in the back by our ranged while engaged with melee troops who are pretty superior to them. This is a trick, though. They're trying to lure us into them so that they can get our ranged left alone. I'm going to have our guys strategically fall back. This is not a retreat. It's a strategic falling back. Alright, you can see these guys are getting absolutely run over. I don't know why they're glowing green. I'm not really sure what that portends. Alright. Let's try to get ourselves in position for a nice pestilent breath. Ooh, wow. That had some serious morale effects. We're going to grab our ranged units and make sure that they are focusing down here fire down the hill into these cold ones. You know, just crack them open. Who doesn't love cracking open a cold one? The clan rats can stay focused on this, but we should probably bring our plague monks back. These guys are actually, like, I think, reasonably good fighters, and we might need them for, you know, the main part of this battle that's going on. Alright, engage. And this seems like a good time to imbue our units with poison. You know, I don't think this is going to go as poorly as I was afraid. Alright, this seems like a good time to bring up another unit of clan rats. Again, hitting people in the back reduces their morale. So we're going to have this unit turn and face these battle skinks. Look at how tiny these guys are. They're like... Whereas the Sauruses are sort of like anthropomorphic dinosaur men, these are anthropomorphic dinosaur children, or maybe like anthropomorphized geckos or something. They're small and they're weak, and they'll break easily, I'm sure, once we give them a little spook here. Where's our lord? He's a wizard. He should not probably be engaged in direct battle. These guys definitely are looking to do exactly that. So let's have him flee back through the line. Actually, we'll have our Plague Monk Sensor Bearers jump in on these guys with their weird little plague flails. I probably should have looked at all the capabilities of my units before getting involved in my first battle, but you know what? Alright, I'm going to call back the clan rats that were chasing those skinks off the map. I think they probably got it under control. Do another Pestilent Breath since they've lined up so nicely for us. Yep, you can see these guys are breaking. Yeah, they're just not ready for the endless reinforcements. Alright, let's focus our slingers on the enemy ranged for the moment. I don't want these guys just shooting blowgun darts into us with impunity. Alright, we're 2 seconds off of being able to cast another poison on our guys here. Try to get as many of our units as possible with it. Alright, fall in behind them. Hold on a second. Who's fleeing? Oh. As soon as I turned my clan rats around, the skinks turned around and started shooting them in the back. Clan rats are not very brave. Alright, so one other thing I should mention about our lord is, as a lord, I don't know if you can see it, while I'm moused over him, there's a sort of a bluish-green circle. This is his leadership aura. He gives all units within a certain distance of him bonus leadership, which is to say morale, chance not to flee, you know. So it's important to keep him kind of near the battle. We might... Those guys are breaking pretty fast. We might want to pull some of our ranged off and have them start flinging down the hill into these guys, try to re-break these guys, and as soon as we can summon more clan rats, we will. How are you guys doing? What is this symbology? Oh, they're out of control. Lizardman units can go like bestial sometimes, I believe. We'll have our plague catapults turn and fire into this mass of enemy ranged units. Okay, this looks absolutely perfect.
Your warriors tire, mighty lord. Your exertions dull
All right.
their ability to fight. Give them time to rest, even amidst the thickest of battles.
It's true, our units will get tired as they continue to fight. There's an exhaustion system and everything, but we really don't have time for rest right now. I think we'd better keep it up pretty much full blast. So you guys are fighting the right targets. We are losing. It's important to note. But it's not going as poorly as I was afraid it might. And I'm thinking it might be possible for us to win this. Whereas At the time of beginning the battle, I was pretty sure that was not the case. Alright, let's turn the plague catapults a little further down the hill. We are getting those guys. Let's keep our poison up. We need to wait for our winds of magic to regenerate a little bit before we can use our breath again. Come on, fall in on those guys. Surprise! Oops, I kind of did that right in front of the catapults. They're immediately broken. Yeah, that was not great. Let's try to drive these guys off. We almost have enough winds of magic to, Hey, wait, where's Skrolk? Oh, no, okay. Skrolk is already fighting their lord, I was gonna say. This seems like a good opportunity for our guy to do a thing. I want to save up magic for another breath weapon attack. Can you move down the hill and get those guys? We're doing alright. We definitely need to add some men to this part of the battle. Alright. Slingers can shoot these enemies in the back. What are you guys doing? Hey, turn around.
The enemy commander runs from the field, my lord, and a sorry spectacle it is too. His army will surely follow.
Yeah, so this is bad for their morale, their lord fleeing. It would be worse for their morale if their lord died. He's definitely right to flee, but hold on. Before Skrolk runs too far out of battle, we should drop another breath weapon in a place where it's going to do a lot of damage. Right here's pretty good. Okay, they've given up. So this is usually how battles end in Total War. It's rarely the complete destruction of one of the forces. Usually more of a retreat situation. Let's see if we can stymie this dude's retreat, because it will make a difference if we can actually kill him instead of allowing him to escape. Man, he is just running right through them. They are not slowing him down at all. What does it cost to cast our poison? 5? The poison has a significant speed debuff on it, so if I could cast poison on these clan rats, they're really not attacking him, are they? Skrolk is trying to get him. Yeah, no, these clan rats seem to be broken. They're not. He's taking damage. They're just not actually hitting him. I wonder if there's just like a some kind of area of pestilence damage over time effect. Hit him. Just hit him with your mace. He's not that fast. Come on, guys. You can do this. I believe in you. He has to make it to the edge of the map to escape. I'm hoping that we can prevent that from happening. Somebody hit him. Don't just run next to him.
Yes, brethren.
Did you guys forget what you were doing? Hold on. I'm going to try to run the clan rats out in front of him.
Yes, master. Scurry. Suffer the clean.
He just changed direction. He's too clever. Just hit him once. Just hit him once. Oh, yes, there we go. That was an attack animation. They're mostly just milling around. Man, clan rats are bad at their jobs. Magic kill indeed. Alright, well, I don't think they're going to do it. Okay, I thought that we were going to get routed there, and that it was expensive. But it didn't turn out that poorly. And now his army's broken, and on our turn we'll be able to just completely run him down. It's a slight miscalculation on the part of Talak Talan. Okay, so we got some food. Don't ask how. They were carrying it. We stole the food they were carrying. Definitely, that's what it is. So we can sell off some of the captives. This is, we captured 172 of them. We can sell them off, ransom them back to the lizard men, but our troops won't like that very much, and it's not really a lot of money. We could enslave them, quote-unquote enslave them. It looks like mostly we'll be eating them, which will give our army a significant leadership bonus and get us some food. Or we can just eat them right now. So I guess, enslave them for food later, or food them right now. This will significantly replenish our units. You can see the yellow in the health bars when I mouse over this. I think, honestly, we're going to take that one. It's a lot of replenishment, and we could really use it.
More virulent am I.
He changed his stance to flee. Flee desperately into the settlement. And because we were able to stand our ground, we'll finish recruiting those units we were recruiting. If we had retreated in an attempt to get out of range... Alright, you. If we had fled in an attempt to get out of his movement range, we would have lost the units that we were recruiting. So he has a 5-unit garrison in addition to his busted up army. You can see this yellow health is health they will get if they are still alive at the beginning of their turn. I think it would be unwise for us to allow that to happen. Also, we found a Crown of Command, which gives us the ability to make an ally unbreakable, which their morale will not cause them to flee. It's not a bad idea. Okay, so every hero has a tremendous number of skills they can learn. I'm going to take Route Marcher as our first skill, just because I think being able to move further on the campaign map is so powerful and so useful. I think you should take this on every single lord. Keep in mind, I'm not an expert. So, his 15 units against our 12, but a lot of his units are pretty screwed up, and most of my units are actually quite healthy. I think we can take him. Also, they were in march mode at the end of the turn, which means they'll be tired when the battle starts. Alright, Skrolk, he's a very chatty guy.
The city has been reached, and your warriors are prepared for battle, mighty lord.
So we could manual this battle out and maybe get a better result, but I'm not sure that I would get a better result, honestly. We could spend some food to increase the number of uses of menace below we get to tilt the battle further in our favor. Let's see what food actually does. So right now we're here. +3 growth in all provinces. So that helps our province get larger, helps us unlock more building slots and stuff. If we get to higher levels of surplus food, we can get a significant bonus to leadership for all of our forces and also public order in all of our provinces. And if we drop too low, we'll start to see growth, leadership, and public order penalties. Oh wow, and if you get really low, your income gets all screwed up. Okay. Well, just your income from battles, though, it looks like. So we can afford to spend a little bit. Let's push this battle further in our favor. And we're just gonna let the AI auto-resolve it. I'll go, yeah, we'll go here. We'll stay in this yellow middle level. We don't need to personally fight everything. It's not a good use of our time, and also, I'm not super great at the battles, so a lot of the time the auto-resolve will take fewer casualties than I would. Well, we got some decent battle loot there. What does this do? It gives -4 leadership to enemy targets around the unit we assign it to. Let's put it on one of our fancy units. Okay, and we can now burn their settlement to the ground, plunder a very little bit of gold out of it. Wow, that's a small amount. We can sack it, leave it standing, but steal all the cool stuff in it and get a significant amount, rather, of unit replenishment. Or we can take it over for ourselves, which is what I think I will be doing. Oh, so we can pay food to just have it start at a higher level. What's the penalty for being down here in the orange? -1 public order, -5 growth. And we're positive on food, so we'll pull out of it next turn. Yeah, that doesn't seem so bad. Let's loot and occupy. Uh-oh, our food is actually negative now. Colonization costs food. Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to have to fix that. We managed to finally finish off Talok, and we have fulfilled our quest. We gained a follower, a reptile thing sacrifice. It gives plus 10% weapon strength when fighting against lizardmen. Okay. That's handy.
The population of your province grows, my lord. Over time, this growth will
we'll get to
permit
that.
the expansion.
Hey, I'm the one tutorializing here.
Reptile prisoners say the lizards are
This is what I was just about to talk about. Provinces. So, the Sentinel of Time is the other settlement in our province of the Lost Valley. If we control an entire province, we can issue commandments that will increase the value and output of the province. So obviously we'd like to go take the Sentinel of Time as well. Unfortunately, there is a reasonably sized army back there. Boy, we started just completely surrounded by this dude's armies. Alright, one thing at a time. So let's have a look at what else we have available to us. If we continue down this blue line, we can increase our income from looting, increase our ambush success chance, which seems maybe not great, lower the cost of recruiting units into our army, lower corruption in our regions, or raise corruption in our regions, and these two skills are mutually exclusive. When you take one, it locks the other. That's interesting. And if we do all that stuff, it'll lead to extra experience for our recruits. The lightning strike ability, which is very powerful, and I think we're probably gonna come down this line first. Lowered upkeep for all units. So yeah, some cool... So this blue line at the bottom is the strategy map upgrades line. The red line improves the units in the Lord's army, and yellow lines improve the personal combat ability of the Lord. And then we have this line of stuff up here that will become available as he levels up. This is just cool stuff that is based on his role in our army. We're going to continue down the blue line because I really, really want Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike allows you to attack an army without having to deal with any reinforcements from other nearby armies. You just hit them and then disappear into the night. And it's a thing that will save us a lot of heartache. So why don't I take plus income from looting? I suspect this is going to be a significant portion of our income. Let's buff that up as much as possible. And we need to recover some of our losses now.
Global recruitment is available to boost you.
Okay. So yeah, we have a global recruitment pool in addition to the local recruitment pool. This allows us to reinforce enemies that are far from home, or to more quickly reinforce armies that are at home. Because we could spend, like you can see, each one of these guys will cost 2 turns to recruit instead of 1, but it's a separate pool of units. So we can recruit 3 guys from this pool and 3 this turn, and 3 guys from this pool next turn, and 3 guys from this pool over those 2 turns to get 9 units instead of 6 in that time. Which I might consider doing because we could hold 9 units, and we really could use to beef up against all these sneaky lizard dudes. So Skaven slaves have really bad stats. We're just going to compare here. So you can see clan rat spears have almost 1,000 more health and just plus everything everywhere. The difference is they cost more than 4 times as much in upkeep. But we can afford some of this.
Lord Skrolk,
Your recruitment
Hold on.
facilities are at maximum capacity, my lord.
That guy's going to tell us a lot of really basic stuff all the time, apparently. It's not necessarily a bad idea to have some Skaven slaves just to, get in the way. Be nice, cheap troops to distract the enemy. I'm going to pull some clan rats. Guys without spears are slightly better at fighting than guys with spears, but they don't have the bonus damage versus large. The enemy armies are going to contain some number of skinks and stuff, and clan rats will be a little bit better at dealing with those. And where are we at as far as... Okay. So we're not doing so well on ability to recruit other units. We definitely want to put up a hidden lair. I would kind of prefer to build it in the capital because minor settlements are limited to going up to level 3. But larger settlements can go all the way up to level 5. And you can see here at the left side of these build menus, the level of the main settlement building in a settlement limits what you can build there. So if we built our hidden lair here, we would never be able to upgrade it all the way to a Den of Secrets because this settlement can never be level 4. That said, I think it's probably a thing that's worth doing temporarily because we're out of building slots in our main settlement. And we have to address our food problem too. How do we get more food? Looks like we maybe don't have a building that generates food? Well, shoot, how do we get it then? Oh! Never mind. There's a pasture here. Okay, so we'll grow some putrid rice. That'll tide us all over. Still no tech, okay. So, in theory, the Southern Sentinels don't know where our settlement is, which should keep it pretty safe. Yeah, okay. It looks like they don't have any idea how to strike back at us. That's good. That's very good for us. Okay, so you've picked up some new stuff. Clan rats with shields. Shields mostly are beneficial because they allow you to take less damage from missile fire from the front. These guys are going to be using blow darts on us all the time and stuff, so it's probably worthwhile getting a couple of units of clan rats with shields. And I suppose we'll go for the ones without the spears? Yeah, we have enough spear units. Alright, so next turn we'll have a full stack of dudes. Okay, we're back up to positive. The consumption penalty for colonization is a 1-turn penalty. Alright, fair enough. Good to know. Okay, not a lot to do on this turn. So our long-term thing is we're out to collect a lot of warpstone. But our sort of medium-term goal has to be to get powerful enough to take warpstone from others, which is going to mean growing our armies, getting more territory. Their army has left. We're closer to the Guacamole crater, and obviously we could just run up here and attack the place. It only has a 7-unit garrison. The thing is, I don't want to turn south, take my army south, and then have them send an army down from here. Let's do a little bit of scouting. I don't see any more of them. I don't see any more of their settlements. Let's go for it.
The enemy city is fortified, my lord.
It sure
Weapons
is.
will be needed to bring down the walls. Prepare your warriors for a long siege.
Okay, I know how the siege panel works. So siege weapons require manpower to build. We could build siege towers and battering rams, and we just have to get through these walls. Wow, it's really gonna just... Like, I've never played the game before. Okay, so we don't have to build this stuff. We can just attack them, because we have an artillery weapon, which has the siege attacker trait. We could let our plague claw catapults bust down the city gates. Balance of power is very much in their favor right now. We could probably get a much more friendly auto-resolve by just going ahead and building a couple of siege weapons.
Unleash corruption.
And with them not appearing to have any armies in the area to come and interrupt us, I think this is probably a thing that's worth
Fight
doing.
Nash. Fight my brothers.
If we siege them for long enough, we could eventually starve them out, but you can see it would take a long time, an amount of time that I don't think we have. But we can secure a slightly friendlier build here. So plus growth, plus food. Yeah, this seems like a very good building chain. Let's go ahead and keep upgrading that. So growth here influences our ability to create higher level settlements. You can see upgrading to this settlement will cost 2 population surplus, then 4, and then 5 to get up to here. Growth is really, really important at first when you're still upgrading your main settlement buildings, and then starts to trail off in importance. We also have to pay attention to our public order. If it falls too low, we'll start to see rebellions. You can see we have a provincial instability that is slowly decreasing over time. This is because of the fact that we recently attacked a city that is in this region. After you claim something through combat, you often have to have an army sort of sit nearby and make sure nothing goes wrong for a little while. Alright, let's siege this for a couple of turns. And then take it and move back to the south. And we might be able to wipe out these southern sentinels entirely, because I don't think they have any idea how to fight back. They don't know where we are. It's a significant detriment for them. But they do have a pretty large force heading toward our capital. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous.
Of the Lustrian jungles draw near. Be wary of the lizard men, my lord. Their motives are often hard to fathom, but the ferocity of their warriors and the sharpness of their claws are in little doubt.
Alright, so we can only see some of the units in his army. If we had a scout out here checking them out, we could get better intel. Let's have a look at this. So we've just completed a ram, and we do have a slightly better balance of power, I think. Not a lot better. We can also put in some menace below. We might want to just do this and start heading back, I think. So let's go ahead and just auto-resolve this. Okay. We lost a unit of clan rats, took a lot of damage. All in all, though, not a bad result. Not a lot of loot gained. This is the capital settlement of this region. So if I do this, we're going to drop to, like, we're going to drop into the red for a turn, but then we're going to produce a bunch of food, where our food income is pretty solid. Yeah, alright, well, we'll occupy this settlement at level 2. We're going to take some food penalties here. We'll be alright. And it looks to me like that is it for the northern forces of the southern sentinels, so we might be pretty close to wiping these guys out. Okay, his chance of miscasting will go up. We'll start each battle with more winds of magic with which to cast our spells. Miscast chances, you can fire a spell super hard. It's called overcasting. But if you do it, there's a chance that you, instead of casting the spell, will just burn yourself very bad with the mana. I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is getting to Lightning Strike. So in order to get to Draft Master, we have to spend 4 points in this group, and then we can get Lightning Strike afterward. Our army's out of movement ability for the turn. We'll just grab some Skaven slaves to refill the army. Because we got to get on the move next turn. I don't want to be sitting still recruiting for 2 turns. Alright, so we now have a hidden lair. This icon here tells us that if we get this building upgraded, it will unlock some tech for us. Assassin's Hideout. It will unlock technologies related to combat, plus speed for our infantry, plus weapon strength for certain units. Okay. Seems like a pretty good one. And we have no building to do. We gotta wait until we have more population surplus to upgrade our settlements, which will happen in 2 turns at our current growth rate. Alright, the very high level of provincial instability you cause when taking stuff over by force, combined with the way our public order and food systems are working, means that we're probably going to have to not expand super quickly. We're going to have to take this slow and keep armies around to make sure that we can put down any rebellions that spawn. It seems like they might be common. So you can see public order in this region is plus 10, but that's because we're getting 20 public order from having an army parked in the capital here. We're going to lose all that immediately when we leave. So I'm going to stop taxing this province. It will stop producing the 50 income, but it also will lose 4 public disorder from being taxed. They'll help keep things on a relatively even keel for a minute. Okay, so we have access to an awful lot of kinds of buildings. We might want to just build a public order building. It does have a little bit of income associated with it, although obviously we won't get the benefit of the income because we're not taxing it. Yeah, let's do this. We'll drive public order up, and then we also will want to build other stuff in this region, but maybe it can wait until the settlement is actually higher level. yeah, there's not really any reason to build slave wheels because we're not producing any money from this region anyway. Let's hold on to the cash. We may need it for building armies and stuff. Alright, so every army is in a stance. Our default stance is stalking. We can ambush any enemy that we attack. There's a chance. I don't know what the chance is. We have access to a couple of other movement modes. March, we saw the lizards do, lets you move further, but your units get tired. Should the army be attacked, retreat will be impossible. If it loses the battle, it will be wiped out. It's a pretty serious penalty. You gotta be careful when you're using it. The ambush stance will make us hide on the map, and if any enemy army comes near us, we'll have the ability to ambush them, catch them off guard. It's pretty powerful. We can raid to steal food and money from regions. Obviously, it's more effective if used in regions that don't belong to us. And we can encamp, which will allow us to recruit stuff from the global recruitment pool, even if we're deep in enemy territory. And finally, we can use the underway. This lets us move underground. We can move under terrain that would be impassable. We can use it to like cross rivers or go under mountains and stuff. But it's very easy to get ambushed down there. And if you get ambushed, you can be wiped out very easily. We're just going to march super fast. I want to get back to the capital. So Guacamole Crater is at -6 public order. And once the provincial instability winds down a little bit, we'll be fine. And I think, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. In 2 turns, we'll have the +4 public order from this. So you only get a rebellion at if you let it fall all the way to -100. We are not in any danger of that happening here. Alright, let's see what these lizard men are up to. It looks like they moved their large army away, or they put it in ambush mode or something. I don't know, they're fighting something to their southeast, it looks like. They keep running down there. This is very good for us.
Your kind are known for its backstabbing ways, mighty lord. Yet
okay. The game wants us to learn about diplomacy. Sign a non-aggression pact with the Vampire Coast faction.
The denizens are dangerously agitated, my lord. Soon they...
Okay. Between episodes, I'm going to turn down the level of the tutorials. I'm pretty sure there's an option for that in the menus, or in the options. We haven't met the Vampire Coast faction, so it's hard for me to imagine how we would make any kind of deals with them. Also, I'm noticing some colored spires of light. We can see another one over here. These probably have something to do with ritual resources. They might be sources of warpstone. We'll check those out when we have the time and ability. For now, we need to have 25% movement range left to adopt ambush stance. Let's try to make our approach not super obvious to the lizards. Actually, I guess we can just move into our own city here. Okay, and while we're here, we can recruit some new units. So I'm going to boot that unit of Skaven slaves that we recruited. Turns out we don't need you. Wow, 180 per unit? That's crazy. That's a lot of dudes. So we could recruit now Night Runners and Night Runners with slings. Night Runners are... Let's pin this. They're ranged units. They're missile infantry. So they can fire while moving. They're really, really fast. If you've ever played Blood Bowl, you are well aware of how fast a Skaven runner is. So they have a lot of the same abilities that all Skaven have. They're more powerful. They have better leadership and defense when they're near their own kind. When their leadership gets low, you can see disabled if leadership is high. So when their leadership gets low, they get a bunch of extra speed for more effective fleeing. Yeah, let's pick up a unit of Night Runners. And unlike a lot of ranged units, they have the decent melee combatant trait, which means that they can actually engage in melee sort of okay. They're still not good at it. Okay, we have enough population to upgrade now, but we don't have the money. So next turn we'll probably want to get our nest layer under construction. And upgrading the main building in the settlement gives all kinds of bonuses to the settlement and also unlocks more construction slots. Okay, they see us coming. They know we're here. I'm not sure what my plan is for this.
One of your subordinates shows questionable devotion
Oh,
to
yeah?
your cause, it would seem. Consider taking steps to appease or otherwise deal with them. Disloyalty cannot be left to fester.
So this is a new mechanic in Total War Warhammer 2. A measure of the willingness of a lord to follow the leader of his or her faction. Should a lord's loyalty reach 0, they will rebel, taking their army with them to form a new faction. Okay.
Skrolk,
We don't actually have loyalty, though, on this guy, right? Because he is the leader of our faction? Yeah, it says one of your subordinates shows questionable devotion here. I don't know who he could be talking about. We only have one lord. Alright. So we've gained a trait. We are now strict. Public order +1 in the local province. And we earned this because we spent multiple turns in a settlement with low public order. So your heroes and lords will gain traits over time based on various triggers. Alright, I think that loyalty dialogue was not supposed to play. It seems to have been in error. So we can see a few more of his units now because he's closer. This is not great. This army looks a little better than the last one, maybe. He's certainly got more large Saurus guys.
pox to rats.
I'm going to step out of the settlement.
You're in Liber Bubonicus. Vengeance on serpent spawn.
And go into ambush mode.
Ready to strike.
Let's see if, upon seeing us disappear, he becomes curious where we went and moves forward. Because if we can catch him with an ambush, I'm sure we can defeat him. If we have to fight him from in an even battle, I'm not as certain. Okay, so we'll unlock the ability to hire Skaven slave slingers. We will also have one extra construction slot in the settlement, and we'll get some extra growth and food capacity and warpstone and stuff.
Eat, consume toad things.
I'm a little concerned here, though. Okay. And what is our warpstone? We are currently gaining 3 warpstone per turn, and it looks like we have to get to 5,000. So we're gonna need to work that up. That's gonna have to go up. Now, let's see what he does. It's possible that my ambush will fail. Oh, he's getting... Yep. Lord Skrolk's ambush was foiled.
The enemy bring reinforcements to the fight.
Yeah, so he's got that second army. We are definitely retreating.
Retreat. Run.
So retreating just runs you backwards some distance. We were able to run backward far enough that he will have to deal with the garrison of our city if he wants to fight us, which should tilt the battle a little bit more in our favor. You can see it's a pretty large settlement garrison. And we are going to go ahead and spend all of the food, because if we lose this battle, we will lose the game. The balance of power is in the enemy's favor, meaning that if we auto-resolve, it's going to tell us we lost. So I guess let's take it manually. I think we should be able to hold out here, and if we can, this is probably the end of him. He's committed what has to be his entire military to this battle, so as long as we don't really screw this up, I think we will in fact be able to eliminate the Southern Sentinels after this. So he does still have a lot of skinks. He has more Sauruses than we saw in the last army, but ooh, this terrain is interesting. His reinforcements are going to come in. Oh no, our reinforcements are coming in from this side. His are going to come in from behind him. And this is actually based on the map positions. Your reinforcements come in from the appropriate side. I kind of want to start up here so that we're not fighting uphill, but if I do that, we're going to be divided from our reinforcements, which I don't love. So maybe the plan should be to move into this pass and push forward. We're also starting with a pretty low amount of winds of magic, so I'm going to go ahead and gamble some reserves against starting with a higher value. Oh, nope. So we won more reserves, but we're starting with basically none. Our other option could be we could start way back here. So there is a time limit on the battles, and as the attacker, it is incumbent on him to attack us. He has to defeat us. We just have to survive for the battle to be considered a victory. So maybe what I do is, yeah, take up back here. He has to approach us and just have my reinforcements sprint for the forest when they come in. I think that's probably the right play. So yeah, the range of that catapult is such that, okay, won't be able to hit him right away. That's fine. We'll be alright. So we're going to start by placing most of our normal melee troops just sort of in front of the... Man, look at how many bodies we have now. This is going to be a big one. Grab these guys and put them right in front here. Okay, wow. Their ranks are so thick. Okay, so we'll do like this. Now we want to make some use of the forests in the terrain. You can hide a unit in a forest. These guys have Vanguard deployment too, which means that we can actually place them outside of our starting area, but not within this white region around the enemy starting area. So if we wanted to, we could deploy them like up here. I don't really see a lot of point in doing that, but maybe over here? So what I'm thinking is they can, after the lizard men move up on us, these guys can reveal themselves, run out from the trees, and do some harm. Although maybe we'd be better off putting them in trees closer to us. Huh, they're not becoming hidden. There we go. So you can see they have a little icon if they're hidden. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but we're going to try it. So now the question is, how many of our melee units should we hide over here? I don't know what the effectiveness of hiding melee units is going to be. It could be that they just will not fall for that. But let's go ahead and try putting some of our guys in the trees here. My hope is that they will just charge into us pretty recklessly, and we'll be able to flank them. Come in and hit them in the side. But I think I'm going to leave the rest of my guys just sort of here. Slingers can fire over them a little bit as the enemy comes in. This is probably fine. And we are under absolutely... Okay. We are under absolutely no impetus to move forward. Like I said, if they don't want to come get us, we win, so... Let's just order these guys as soon as they get in to head this way. I do not want to get my reinforcements grabbed while they're on their way to meet us. So we have no vision of the enemy army at all because they are far away and there's stuff breaking our line of sight and they might be in the trees. We know they started over here. Okay, we're getting glimpses of them. Like I said, there's no reason for us to move forward. Let's just run these guys into the trees. So what are we picking up? Mostly melee units. We do have a unit of sensor bearers, which are the cool flail infantry, which I want to form up over here. And then we have a couple units of night runners, which should probably join these guys in the forest. But the rest of our reinforcement rats, I want to just basically just get over here because it's very important to me that these guys walk into our trap. Okay, on the ground, faintly in yellow, you can see the range of our catapult. It looks to me like it's going to take a minute for this battle to get going, so let's take a moment and fast forward. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to turn his level of tutorialization down. This is at 4x speed, by the way. These guys are really taking their time reaching us. I think the animations don't play super smoothly at 4x, it seems like. That's fine. Alright, so our guys are coming. These are pretty large distances we're talking about. Alright, so what do we have here? Skinks are mostly leading the front, but there are some Sauruses. We probably want to focus our catapult fire on the larger, more dangerous units. The Skinks we can break in melee.
Group your units for best effect, Commander.
He's just going to shout at me periodically until the proper battle starts. Yeah, wow, they are really moving up on us very slowly. Okay, this is their lord back here. This is a coward. It's interesting. You can see he's very tired already. That's the red legs. Some of their units are quite tired. Okay, here we go. First shots from the catapult should be lancing out here. So let's focus on Saurus units as best we can. Yeah, they're spreading out, trying to avoid the hit. Yeah, they're kind of like channeling themselves in weird ways around the edges of the terrain here. All right, let's take it down to normal speed. All right, I'm gonna have Skrolk move up. So we can definitely start shooting our breath weapon. That does some really good damage. Alright, you guys are tremendously outnumbered. But they did bring a lot of blowguns. You can see they're running out of ammo really fast, though. Yeah, geez, how are they this low on ammunition already? Alright, well, let's try to break the range units as quickly as we can. So have our range units started on them. And yeah, I guess let's just join battle. There's no reason to wait, I don't think. Alright, so we're going to have the units sweep in and try to muck up their guys as much as possible, and then have other units move in around and behind them. Because hitting enemies in the back is always a good idea. I'm going to let our Night Runners wait a little bit longer to engage. I don't want to pull them out now and just have two of these units turn around and destroy them. Alright, so you can see we're going to get them from two sides here, which is pretty bad for them.
The enemy attack your flank, Commander. Drive them off.
Oh, stop. Okay, so let's start engaging here. You can see our slingers are working on it, but they just don't do very good damage. Catapults are still going. Let's move up on the slingers, actually, and I'm going to spawn clan rats in behind them to try to keep them from running. See if we can crush a couple of these units of ranged attackers quickly, because you can see ranged fire has a serious effect on morale. We do not want to be enduring that for very long. And I mean, basically, I want to move up, but I don't want to move up too much because I don't want to give them the ability to flank in on us. Maybe moving up at all is a bad idea. It could be that I'm just a little bit too eager to fight. Let's put things back in play. So these guys have spotted our units waiting in the wings. Yeah, it looks like the animation smoothness is taking a hit to accommodate all of the units here. So we'll move our gutter runners in behind these guys. Shooting at them from the back will have a better effect. We'll just shred those guys real fast and then try to redevote that portion of our army. Alright, move forward. And hold on, let me grab Skrolk. I'm sure, yep, our breath attack is available again, and they have really grouped up for it. They deserve everything they are about to receive. Let's try to pop our Crown of Command on these guys who are considering... Yep. Unbreakable. Refill their loyalty. And... the enemy's forces are joining completely. We should do the same. Like I said, we want to kind of like wrap around them here. Alright, you guys have done a fine job. You probably can come back and participate. And this would be the moment to finally reveal our guys. If they hadn't accidentally been discovered by the enemy lord, yeah, just let him have it. In an enemy lord versus 120 of our Night Runners battle, I'm hopeful that our Night Runners can at least do some meaningful damage. Lords are pretty powerful. We shall see. This also might be a good time for us to engage the poison attacks. Where are you guys going? Are you attacking? You should be attacking. Get him. Don't let him run away. Alright. I don't know how those guys even got that deep into the battle. Alright, just crash into the back of them. Can I... yeah, I'm going to move Skrolk forward and have him drop his plague breath into here. Alright, the Night Runners have done a fine job of routing those guys. Let's get in behind these, let's get in behind these blow darts. Start bringing in the rest of our forces as much as possible. It's a little bit of a shame. Here, we'll try to get these guys flanking around. It's not ideal. Alright, the cold ones have lost control and are coming back in. But I bet we can break them again. Yeah, just range attacks in the flank do a lot of morale damage. You guys really don't have to chase those skinks all the way out of the map. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of fleeing enemies here. We do want to chase, but not too much. It's very important that we not allow our forces to be drawn completely out of position in case they rally on us. So let's try to flatten as many of these guys as we can without pulling ourselves too far out. We're seeing some breakage, but hold on a second. Let's reassess the situation. First of all, these guys who are wavering need to be made unbreakable with the Crown of Command. And then Skrolk actually still hasn't used his breath thing. He hadn't gotten close enough. This looks like a fine place to do it. Run, Skrolk, don't get caught. Okay. We'll just fold him in here. He's not really vulnerable to attack anymore. Alright, if we ever have the entire enemy army in retreat at the same time, they will lose the battle immediately. Which is what happened at the end of our first battle. So that's our goal. So we want to break as many of them as possible. And fortunately, one unit breaking causes other units to break. Your guys lose morale when they see your other guys losing morale. And so you can get kind of a cascade effect from that sometimes. Okay, we have our units are getting a little spread out here. Let's have people disengage as much as possible. Just fall back on the guys that we're all close to. And these guys have to come up and reinforce. They are not really... we don't need all of them fighting this one unit of Saurus spears. Those guys are probably under control. Alright, what do we want to do? We have all these uses of Menace Below. We should definitely be applying it. What's the best place to put it? I guess we could drop it right here. These guys are skinks, right? Yes, they're not very powerful. It turns out we have reinforcements hidden absolutely everywhere. And you can see their morale is breaking very rapidly. And I don't really care if these guys get surrounded and killed, because that's kind of their whole job. The catapult is doing just magnificent work. Where's the catapult? Let's have it try to fire a little bit more into the center of the enemy mass. And then Skrolk, you're going to be needed up at the front here, buddy. You guys all move forward. Let's command group our slingers, our night runners. What are you guys doing? There's some people who chase their targets a little bit too aggressively. Yeah, so come up and hit them in the back. All you guys need to get up there. Alright. We can go ahead and devote 2 units of clan rats to dealing with this problem. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, slingers move up. The enemy is in pretty much complete disarray here. Let's drop a bunch of extra clan rats on them. As you can tell, my micro's not super good. I just don't have the mental resources to pay attention to the number of things that are happening in a battle. Doesn't make it any less fun. It's just a little overwhelming sometimes. What are you guys doing? Join in. Have some fun. Get some kills. This is how you can tell that these are the bad Skaven. Because the good Skaven would not have to be told to go kill people. They would be overjoyed at the opportunity. Alright, I think we're seeing the big rout here. Indeed. But before we call out of the battle here, I want to get one more good breath attack off. Yeah, that's just very satisfying to use. Alright, well, I do believe that that is going to be the end of the Southern Sentinels. I can't imagine they come back from that. We brutalized both of their armies. We still have 2,000 men remaining just in our main army. And the men they do have left are probably pretty torn up. We're going to be able to get a little bit of replenishment. Actually, it's such a small amount of replenishment that I think what we should do instead is just take the leadership boost for the next fight. Oh, we found a scroll of power.
Soon shall be Archplague Lord.
Yep, change stance to flee. Flee as far as I'm allowed to flee. I don't think that's going to be quite far enough, man. Alright, so my ambush strategy didn't quite work out. So we gained a scroll of power, which increases our miscast chance, but reduces the cooldown on all of our abilities by 90 seconds, which, I mean, it just makes them all available again. And we managed to kill their lord. Yeah, bodes very, very ill for them indeed. So let's just finish this off real quick before we end the episode. Yeah, we're in much better shape than he is. This should be completely trivial. And he can't retreat or fall back or anything because he's in march mode, so.
I need their organs. Kill, kill.
You know, we don't need to take the leadership bonus again, because we already have it. Alright, Skrolk. Skrolk is very chatty. So we've achieved victory over lizardmen multiple times, leading to the trait Planbuster. +5 leadership for the Lord's whole army when fighting against lizardmen. Pretty good. We also got another one of these, but you can only have one of each type of follower equipped on each Lord at any time, so doesn't actually help us. It's okay. When we get a second army going, we'll be able to use that second guy for that. So let's go ahead and take a point of ambush success chance. It would be cool if we could get an ambush off at some point. And quests. Okay, so we're supposed to be making a non-aggression pact with the Vampire Coast. We'll have to meet them for that to happen. And we're working hard on getting a province. Unfortunately, I don't think... Can we reach that? I think it might be just outside of our movement range. Yeah, okay. Next turn. We'll take it next turn. And we have the money to build stuff, but we don't have any free slots. We actually... I think I'm going to turn off taxation in this province to give us a chance of not spawning a rebellion over the next couple of turns. We're going to lose money for a little while, but it'll be alright. It'll be worth it. So one final turn here should allow us to claim the Sentinel of Time, solidify our region, or our province rather, and potentially completely wipe out the Southern Sentinels, which they richly deserve. Oh no, never mind. They totally have another settlement. Man, these guys are huge. Alright.
Bubonicus is an opus of great and terrible power. I see you have...
This is one of our legendary lord's quest items, so we have to construct a pox cauldron to begin the quest. The Liber Bubonicus, a rancid tome full of vile lore collected by Pestilence's plague lords, is currently in Skrolk's possession. In a devious move, his minions led a large expedition from the Old World down into the long-abandoned mortuary of Sulaqua, via a trail of worthless trinkets leading deep under the ruined pyramid. A few of the greedy fools were lost to ancient traps, but most made it to the sacrificial chamber. There, on a simple stone plinth, rested the Liber Bubonicus. If the book was left closed, they may have lived, but one of the man-things opened the Liber Bubonicus, and from its pages sprouted 1,000 plague flies. The swarm buzzed, biting, laying eggs, and spreading an awful pox. The ploy worked. The horned rat is surely pleased, yet Skrolk is weary and must now recuperate. So, construct a pox cauldron, get stuff. We definitely could use some warpstone.
Much warpstone found, but more.
Okay, so at the start of your turn, have at least 350 warpstone to start the race for the vortex. That's obviously very important to us, but we're going to have to discover some sources of warpstone to get that going.
The enemy, mighty lord.
Man, there are so many pop-ups every turn. Alright, city's not walled, garrison is small. Easy enough. And we can definitely afford to spend the food to do this. Okay, we've gained an alchemist who increases the replenishment rate of the entire army considerably. This is a big deal. And enables poison attacks, I think just for our lord, but whatever, that's fine. The replenishment rate is the thing about him that you're really excited about. And we've made our province, so we got some warpstone and some money.
Your forces have secured the province.
Okay, so now they want us to issue a commandment. There are entirely too many pop-ups.
This city are damaged, my lord.
Yes, that is certainly true. Thank you. Okay, and we got another reptile thing sacrifice. And we've unlocked the right of the 13th scheme. The Lords of Decay have spoken. We invoke their scheme, the 13th plot. All Scavendom must unite against things. As you've probably noticed, thing is a word they append to any other race to denote that they are not Skaven and as such are inferior. Like I told you, the bad guys. So, we now have a right available to us. Well, how does this work exactly? We pay 1,300 money. It takes effect for 13 turns and goes on a 30-turn cooldown. Gives us a big diplomatic relations boost with other Skaven forces. Lords have a chance to gain loyalty. Enemy heroes are going to be less effective. Our heroes are going to be more effective. And we gain the army ability Pestilence Clanstone. Okay, so we gain an ability that lets us imbue our dudes with poison. This is not really that big of a deal to us. I don't think this matters right now. So let's level up Skrolk. Take Draftmaster. We're almost at Lightning Strike. And...
This is Dark Omen.
oh, this is a clan pit. So we don't need multiple clan pits. There's no reason to have multiple clan pits in one settlement. I think I'm going to delete the one that's in the capital. Because it's a building that only requires a settlement to go up to level 3 to get its full potential, it's fine to have it in a minor settlement and save the valuable major settlement slots for buildings that have to get to high levels to be optimally useful. So let's just fix this one up and then we'll build it up a little bit. And now that we have... oh no, never mind. I was going to say now that we've upgraded this, but that's right. We haven't upgraded this because I still don't have level 3 in Subatun. Well, we have level 3 of this now, so we could build the Weapon Burrow, which will allow us to hire specialized weapon teams, like Warp Fire Throwers and Poison Wind Globadiers and Death Globe Globadiers. So these are like grenade throwing units, and a Warp Fire Thrower is more like a flamethrower. It's pretty fantastic. I definitely want to build this. Plus, that's going to unlock some technology. Okay, we should issue a commandment. Now, we are for sure going to get a rebellion on the next turn, so there's no reason not to turn taxes back on, because, you know, we'll get a rebellion either way. And let's increase... so these are the things we can issue to the province. We can get a small amount of public order and reverse some of our Skaven corruption. We can lower construction costs for buildings and increase growth. We can lower recruitment costs for units in the region. We can increase food generation, but it damages the tax rate. I suppose for now, let's take this one. It won't take effect until next turn, so we're not going to get a discount on any of the buildings on the one building we started this turn. This is pretty expensive though, right? 4,000, I think. Yeah, you know, we'll wait one turn. We'll start building it next turn. We'll take the little discount, and the growth will help us level up our settlement structures. Okay, what else needs to happen? Yeah, there's an imminent rebellion. Nothing we can do about that. I'm totally fine with it. And over here, we're actually positive on public order. The bell is doing its work, so eventually we'll want to reach out and grab all this stuff, but it's going to be a little while before that's feasible. For now, I think this is going to be it for today, so come back next time to see the final defeat of the Southern Sentinels, the spreading of our corruption, and maybe our first steps toward getting some Warpstone, because wouldn't that be nice? And we'll see you then.